GodLogic is an apologist. I think he's Catholic. And Hamza went on his show and they had a bit of a debate. Later, John Fontaine, a Muslim apologist, appeared. And then later, at the very end, who didn't get to say much was Sam Shimon. There's been a big hoo-ha on the internet. Everybody's got a bit excited. Hamza has come on a site away from his usual sites, and everybody's got a bit excited. So I'm going to give my review of that debate. I don't agree with GodLogic's theology. I think he's up the creek and he hangs around Sam Shimon, so he's got no theological discernment whatsoever. But he's a nice guy, very smart and well informed about Islam, and quite a bright young man. And he really asked Hamza a question about the Quran concerning the Quran, saying that Jesus mentions some person who was that Muhammad, and what's the evidence for that? And he had a bit of a back and forward with that debate and that discussion. My conclusion from the debate is GodLogic got Hamza's points was that Hamza didn't know the Bible and didn't know the Quran. And because he didn't know the Bible and didn't know the Quran, when GodLogic was pointing to a verse of the Quran or a verse of the Bible, Hamza was floundering. He didn't really know what to say. And so what he would do is he'd just deviate for a few minutes, attacking Christianity, going off, and GodLogic would have to keep bringing him back and say, yeah, but what about this text in the Quran, or what about this text in the Bible? So that's number one. It showed Hamza had a massive ignorance of his own Quran, a massive ignorance of the Christian text. Secondly, Hamza is incapable of understanding what true debate and discussion is. He seems to think that it's all about the Christians defending Christianity. He doesn't understand that when you have a dialogue, the person who you dialogue has a right to ask you questions about your faith. And so he always wants to shield Islam from being criticized. If what you're saying about Christianity comes from your so-called paradigm, then your paradigm is also open to question. And GodLogic pointed this out at the beginning, that just because you say you've got a paradigm doesn't mean we can't critique your paradigm. Oh, no, this is my paradigm. Yeah, but we can criticize it. So GodLogic was right to say that. The other thing about this issue of paradigm, Hamza saying, this is my paradigm, how we understand the Quranic text, etc. And you have your paradigm. Paradigms also work on plausibility structure. That is, if you've got a paradigm, we can look at your plausibility structure. So let's look at the paradigm of scientific materialism, the idea that all there is the physical. All right, that's your paradigm. Okay, right. So you come with us with evolution, and that's part of your paradigm. So we can ask, well, what's the plausibility structure for evolution? And if we look at the mechanism of evolution, it cannot be substantiated. Mutations and natural selection cannot be substantiated. And we begin to see that your paradigm lacks a plausibility structure. And so when when Hamza says, this is my paradigm, touch not my anointed, no, we can look at your paradigm and see whether you have a plausibility structure, meaning whether you have evidence to back up your paradigm. So those are some of the issues that came out. Those are some general points. The actual details were a little bit boring at times. But the couple of big issues here is, why did John Fontaine and Hamza come out of their hiding? Normally they're on EF Dower, they're on Hamza's Den. Why is it they came out of hiding? I think number one is because Hamza's been doing a lot of reading at the moment, kind of quasi books that critique the Bible, critique Christianity. He's been reading quite a bit, and he's doing a bit of writing. So he kind of thinks he's a bit more confident to come out of his little Islamic Dawah team YouTube channels and to face other apologists. Secondly, the reason why John Fontaine and Hamza have come out of their little Dawah team YouTube channels is because on their YouTube channels, they're not getting, they're getting known for bullying. They're getting known for being bullies and not being able to hold their own in debate. So what they do on their Dawah teams, they get people that don't know anything, and then they smash them to bits, and then they say, oh, aren't we good at what we debated? And a lot of Muslims are beginning to ask questions, think, well, is this what we're really about? Does this really prove Islam? And so Hamza and John Fontaine and others are beginning to realize they need to go out and prove themselves and do some proper debate to show that they can hold their own. So those two reasons, confidence because they're doing some reading and studying, and secondly because they know that they have to go out of their domain if they're going to have any credibility. They can't just keep in their own little Dawah shows. Thirdly, there was massive hypocrisy. GodLogic treated Hamza with respect. He treated him very kindly, and he didn't mute him. But I've been on Hamza's shows many times. I have a degree in theology. I've studied in academic theology for over 10 years. I've studied with the World Authority in Wesley Studies. I've studied under some great theologians. I'm not just saying that. And I've been in ministry like 30 years. But when I go on his show, there's no respect. Him and John Fontaine, there's absolutely no respect at all. They denigrate me. They are disgraceful to me. They're disgusting towards me. They're not respectful. Sometimes they are, but it's tongue-in-cheek. Then they come with things where they are very disrespectful. But GodLogic was very respectful to Hamza. So there's hypocrisy there from Hamza. Hamza is getting treated well by GodLogic, but when I go on, or a Christian apologist does go on, like Samuel Green, we're shown no respect whatsoever. There's no respect at all. And often we're muted, and I'm kicked off. I never ever get a proper fair chance to have a discussion and debate with them. And then fourthly, Hamza and Fontaine and these people, they will not debate sound Christian apologists. They will not debate me. They will not debate Arul. They'll not debate anybody on Operation Stephen. They'll not debate people like James White. He's up there, James White, in terms of debate. They'll not debate any sound evangelicals in proper formal debate because they don't want to give the truth a platform. They're happy to go on GodLogic. They're happy to even arrange a debate. They're going to arrange a debate with Sam Shimon. They're happy to do that because these guys are not sound. So even if John Fontaine and Hamza lose to Sam Shimon's not sound anyway, so they've not lost anything. So I think those are some of the reasons why John Fontaine and Hamza have come out of their little shell, their little Dawah Toto shell. They've been on those shows for years. They've battered young Christians who don't know anything for years. And in the end, people are beginning to see, well, these guys are just bullies. They're just bullies. And they really don't know how to debate. And then finally, the other thing as well, and I know this sounds a bit harsh, but I was looking at John Fontaine's eyes, and I was looking at the eyes of Hamza. And I could see that when GodLogic was asking questions, they were really struggling to understand what was going on. That you could see it was like Joe Biden's eyes in Hamza and John Fontaine. They were not really grasping what was being asked. It was kind of like slow. And you could see, and forgive me, but they're not the brightest buttons on the planet. What you have with some of these apologists, and Hashim is another one. Some of them are not very intelligent. Some of them are forgive me. I mean, Mansour, he's intelligent. Mohammed Hijab is intelligent. Hashim is not intelligent. Abbas is intelligent. Dr. Imran is intelligent. Nazim is intelligent. John Fontaine is not intelligent. Hamza is not intelligent. They're not really got that intellectual ability to have a proper formal debate. They've not got that intellectual capability. And you could see that on GodLogic with John Fontaine and Hamza. It was like watching them debate was like watching a man do up his tie with no thumbs. That's what it was like. It was watching them debate was like watching a man do up his tie with no thumbs. They were struggling. They were really, really struggling. And I think GodLogic was very, very gracious and very kind to them. But that's the reality. Will Ijaz Hamid come out of his box? I know he's going to be debating Brown, Dr. Brown. But will Ijaz Hamid come out of his box and do more formal debates with people like Arul, people like on Operation Stephen? Will Dr. Imran and Abbas come out of their shell and do formal debate? I don't think so. Will Mansour do that? I don't think so. These two, John Fontaine and Hamza, they have a sense of insecurity. They have a sense of inferiority complex. And so part of this is that they want to go out and they want to just show they can do it. It's painful to watch. It's kind of like watching Joe Biden walk up the stairs to his plane. It's kind of like, is Joe Biden, you're kind of like worried for Joe Biden. That's how you feel when you're listening to John Fontaine and Hamza. So the top and bottom of it as well is, I think there was a missed opportunity. I think there should have been more discussion as well on other topics while you had Hamza there. Yeah, I'll just get this comment here. I saw the same look in Hamza quietly panic at the corner when he was cornered by Bob. Yeah, when Bob cornered him, he had that look. Yeah, I remember that. When he was like this. It's like, that's how they were on GodLogic show. Little John Fontaine, he was like a baby. He was like, and Hamza, when he was looking at Isaiah 46, I think it was, or 49, and he's looking, he's like this. And GodLogic says, yeah, go on. And GodLogic's like saying, I've got him. And Hamza's like, yeah. And GodLogic says, how long is it going to take you to get it? I don't get any. I'm going to look at the Jewish text. Yeah, but how long? I'm looking. I'm always learning. Yeah, but come on, how long? And GodLogic's going like that. I've got him. And he goes, why are you doing that? I got you. Come on, read it. What is it? He said, Israel is Jacob here. Israel is Jacob. It's not Jesus. But he said, okay, yeah, okay. Read on. So all right, yeah. Well, let's talk about the Trinity. Read on. And he reads it. The Trinity this and no, yeah. Just read it, Hamza. Read. How long is it going to take you to read it, Hamza? All right, I'm reading. Israel is not Jacob here. Well, that's what I was trying to show you, Hamza. and Hamza just didn't know the Bible, didn't know his own Quran. John Fontaine had to come and help him. But there was a missed opportunity in terms of there could have been discussions about the Gospels, there could have been discussions about other things as well. What I didn't like, one of the things I didn't like is at the end, there was a bit of back patting each other on the back. It's not that I didn't like that. Like Hamza saying, oh, you know, GodLogic, you're great, and you know, Sam Shimon is the best defender of Christianity and all the rest of it. Wasn't too bothered about that. But what was I going to say? That was not the issue. There was something. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit old. There was some issue at the end when they were like kissing each other at the end, like saying, "Oh, you're great," and God, you say, "Oh, I've watched a lot of your videos." And there was a point that I wanted to make. I'm trying to think what the point was. It slipped my mind. I think one of the things is Hamza was saying that he appreciated Sam Shimon's ability to debate. He don't like the nastiness, and he was saying that on his show he's not nasty, but Hamza's been very, very nasty to many, many Christians on his show. Very, very nasty. And the comments under his YouTubes are quite nasty very often. So he was trying to paint himself as like the Joan of Arc of apologetics. The point will come to me as I keep talking. I just can't remember what that point was. Yeah, there could have been a lot more discussion on other issues. I think GodLogic won the discussion. Oh yeah, this is the point. This is the point. What I didn't like at the end, when they were doing all this kiss, 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 you're great, I'm great, and all that, is they said, what I like about you, like Hamza said, what I like about you, GodLogic, is you're good at breaking down arguments. And GodLogic said, yeah, I like breaking down arguments. And he said, you know, what I appreciate about you, Hamza, I've watched a lot of you, that you break down arguments. Why didn't I like it? I think sometimes this apologetic stuff is not edifying, because you know your mother, right? You love your mother, don't you? Yeah? You love your mother. You don't walk around during the day thinking of arguments how you love your mother, do you? You don't walk around every day thinking, what arguments do I have so that I can prove that I love my mother. And I think sometimes these debates and discussions, they're not edifying. They take away from edification, because it's reducing God to an argument. And God is not an argument. He's the living God. He's a great God. He needs to be treated with great respect. And unless you humble yourself and confess your sin and believe on Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you will not find him. And when you get to know him, it's not to be treated like as an argument. He's the living God. So yeah, arguments are important and they're helpful. But I think sometimes these debates and discussions, they can actually move you away from the living God, because they're treating God as an argument. And it's not edifying. Let me just show you what I mean by that. You turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, chapter 2. It says, verse 7, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world, unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would have not crucified the Lord of glory. But it is written, I had not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God had prepared for them that love him. But God had revealed them unto by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, ye the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of man, save the Spirit of man, which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Verse 14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So the Christian faith is a spiritual, it's not only intellectual, it's a spiritual knowledge, and unless you have the Holy Spirit, unless you humble yourself and humble yourself and seek sincerely to know God and to follow God, you're not going to find God through arguments. Unless you humble yourself and allow the Spirit of God to teach you and seek God sincerely, you'll not find God. In short, I think GodLogic's a brilliant, excellent debater. I think he has a lot of knowledge about Islam and the Bible. I think he got the better of Hamza. I think Hamza is trying to come out of his Islamic Dawah shell on the Dawah teams to prove himself and to get more exposure, to test his new knowledge that he's been gaining. And Fontaine has joined him in this. I think that they're not the brightest buttons on the planet, those two. I think that GodLogic is not sound in his theology. He's all over the place. If he's hanging around with Sam Shimon, he's got no doctrinal discernment at all. It was highly entertaining, and I look forward to Hamza and John Fontaine debating GodLogic and Sam Shimon. It will be highly entertaining, but also these debates and arguments miss the real thing about walking humbly with God and having a relationship with God and being faithful to God. And we can move away from that and just talk about God as if he's an argument. And we can lose sight that, no, this is about a relationship with God, knowing God and walking with God. And I think these videos sometimes can move us away from the simplicity that's in Jesus. Those are my thoughts. For what is worth. So God bless you and take care, and may God be with you. Thank you, Robert, for your comments, bro. Have a nice day and take care. Bye-bye.